There's a difference between running your business with profit first and running your business like a CEO. Once you cross the $200,000 mark in revenue, that difference matters. Now, I want to state this clearly. This is not about whether profit first works, because it does. But if you're building and working towards 500,000, 750,000, seven figures, you're at that $200,000 mark or above, the question isn't whether it works. The question is whether it's the right tool. And this came up because recently I interviewed a business owner on my podcast who was around the $200,000 mark. She mentioned to me that she was reading Profit First. And I smiled and nodded, and I just kept the interview moving. And internally, I had this thought. She was solving the wrong problem. It's built around a very simple concept: allocate revenue into preset percentages, open multiple bank accounts, and force profitability through constraint. But that's great if you're in early stages of business. It's powerful. It builds awareness, it creates discipline, and creates a structure. And structure is valuable. Many businesses will fail if they don't have a structure like this. But structure is not a scaling strategy. Profit first structure is about discipline. It's not about financial leadership. Here's what happens around the $200,000 mark. The problem changes. In early stages, how do I stop overspending? How do I discipline myself? But now, at the growth stage, it goes to, how do I design this company to scale? Those are two different questions entirely. At multi six figures, you don't just need guide rails. You need clarity. You need understanding. You need to know, what is my actual profit margin? You need to know, are my offers driving profit or draining it? And which ones? When is the right time to hire? And how will that affect my profit? Preset percentages can't answer those questions because they were never meant to. This is what I call shifting from operator mode into CEO. The operator manages transactions, but the CEO designs outcomes. An operator says, revenue came in, let's allocate it. The CEO says, what must be true financially before I make the next move? Profit First is an operator level system, and it manages money after it arrives. And that's good. CEOs design profit before that decision is made. It's a completely different level of thinking. When you're scaling, you need to know forecasting before you hire. You need to evaluate cash flow before you expand. And you need to base your pricing on financial data and not emotion. And most importantly, making the decisions from your profit and loss statement and balance sheet, not from your bank balance because bank balances lie, but accurate financial statements, they don't. Profit first feels safe and responsible. It feels structured. It feels mature. It feels like you're doing it right. And for a lot of six-figure women business owners, that matters. But ask yourself, do I actually know what drives my profitability inside my business? Do I know what will move the needle from 200K to 500K to a million? Do I know how to scale without squeezing the cash flow? Do I know how to hire in the right way that will increase profit in the long term instead of decreasing it? If you don't know those answers to those questions, the system isn't really solving the real problem. It's managing the symptoms. There's nothing wrong with starting out with a structure like profit first. But there comes a moment when you need to graduate from it, not from the discipline, but from relying on that system solely into financial leadership, into becoming the CEO of your business. And financial leadership means you read your financial statements with confidence and understanding. You have a complete grasp of your cost structure. And most importantly, you know your break even point if I ask you. And you forecast before making a move. You create a profit plan, not a percentage allocation, a profit plan, a plan that's built around how your company earns, spends, retains, and scales for increased profitability. That's how a CEO builds a profitable business. Scaling beyond six figures requires a lot of things. Designing profitability and understanding what growth truly costs and why. Knowing where and when that cash flow pressure is going to show up. Knowing when to reinvest and grow and when to stabilize. Knowing whether an opportunity is exciting and financially sound. That clarity is what creates confidence. And the confidence is what allows you to lead without panic, without guessing, without hoping that the percentages will work out. If you're building beyond six figures and you're still relying on preset percentages or using your bank balance to determine your profitability, it might be worth asking yourself a harder question. Are you managing money or are you creating and leading a company? Profit first manages money through allocation. CEOs, they design outcomes. And that shift from allocation to design, that that is where real profitability and growth begin.